I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cindy.
And we're here with another Feeding Frenzy for the Master Key System. We're in part 1, day 22.
Right. This one was long too. We are related to the world within by the subconscious mind. The solar plexus is the organ of this mind. The sympathetic system of nerves preside over all subjective sensations such as joy, fear, love, emotion, respiration, imagination, and all other subconscious phenomena.
Is that the first paragraph?
It is through the subconscious that we are connected with the universal mind and brought into relation with the infinite constructive forces of the universe.
Oh, okay. So that was the whole thing?
That was the whole
thing. Okay. I was fixing to say, we're going to have to take this paragraph at a time if that's the first one. All right, let's start again.
All right. We are related to the world within by the subconscious mind. You got that one?
Okay.
Okay.
Let's follow that one.
What do you call the subconscious mind? What is the subconscious mind? Excuse me.
That part of my intellect where I don't have to think about it.
It just takes
any
over.
longer. It just takes over.
Okay. The solar plexus is the organ of this mind.
Okay.
The sympathetic system of nerves presides over all subjective sensations, such as joy, fear, love, emotion, respiration, imagination, and all other subconscious phenomena.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
It is through the subconscious that we are connected with the universal mind, which is God, this is capitalized, and brought into relation with the infinite constructive forces of the universe.
Okay.
Can you buy that?
I can buy that. Can you buy that?
Okay. Yes, but explain it to me. I want to see how you heard that.
Okay. Basically, in a nutshell, it's saying through a lot of intelligent words and using a lot of examples, I am connected to God through my subconscious mind.
Okay.
That's what I took from it.
Okay. I'll buy that.
Do you buy that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear the same thing?
I did. Why do you think he throws in all those emotions? He's calling them subjective sensations.
What is a subjective sensation to you?
You tell me. Subjective sensations. Joy, fear, love, emotion.
Well, all of those that you list are subject to my emotional state.
Mm-hmm.
So they can be changed depending on where I'm at emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm taking as a subjective, what did you call it? Subjective
sensation.
Sensation. Something that is subject to change due to the state I'm in.
Okay.
An emotional state I'm in.
Okay.
My joy can change, the fear can change, yeah. All those ones that he listed can change depending on where I'm at.
Okay. All right.
Right?
It's through the subconscious that we are connected to God.
Oh, I truly believe that. Otherwise, we would argue all the time. God and I would have arguments all the time, right? Because intellectually, I want to question it. I want to know the why. I want to know the how. I want to know the answer to the question. If God didn't talk to me through my subconscious, I don't think I could shut up long enough to hear it.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because I couldn't get past the question I wanted to ask, or the next one that's coming, or, think of yourself sitting in front of someone who is of high esteem, or someone famous. You're going to have a list of things that you want to find out because this is your only time. Okay, well, this is the supreme.
Yeah.
How many questions can you think of, especially in the moment that you want to ask? Okay, so if God's going to talk to me, He's got to get through all of this that goes on. And let me tell you, by looking at it myself, it's a mess.
So
you know what I'm saying? So He's just going to bypass that. He's going to go straight to the unconscious, not the unconscious, but the subconscious, where my knowing resides.
Good.
Because I know Him there. Does that make sense?
Right. So when it says...
So there's not a question there. It's already in the knowing for me.
Yeah, we can feel it, so to speak. It says we are connected with God, the universal mind, and brought into relation with the infinite constructive forces of the universe. How do you explain that connection? How are we connected? I mean, I know it's through the subconscious mind, but how? In real terms, how does that connection work? I mean,
I don't know that I can explain that because my connection changes depending on where I'm at. Sometimes I can hear it, sometimes I can feel it, sometimes somebody else has got to hit me in the face with a 2x4 for me to see it. Do you see what I'm saying? It just depends on where I'm at. So I don't know that I could answer that one with just a simple answer.
Okay. So that connection.
How would you?
I think the way you did earlier with that knowing, that I think of it as my guidance. That part of me that knows the answer, and then when I hit on it, I can't not know it.
Right.
It's like looking at one of those I Spy puzzles where you look and you look and you look and you look and you can't find it, and then all of a sudden you see it and you can't not see it.
Right. But doesn't your guidance change?
Yeah, well, yes and no. It gets stronger, and it gets, I notice it more. But I don't know, for me, I don't know that it's ever changed. It's always been that knowing inside.
Well, but you're not as in touch with that emotional side as I am.
Well, that's
I don't
true.
think. So your connection, and I say bravo, must be more clear to you because you're not having to go through that emotional stuff.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
But if I'm in some kind of emotion that I've got to get through first, sometimes God's got to use something else to get to me. Even though it's still in that knowing.
Do I need to get a 2x4?
No, I'm not suggesting that you get a 2x4. That was not literal, okay?
Well, maybe that's what makes it harder for me, is because I don't understand the emotion as much as I guess most people. My mind is like, okay,
Get over it.
Christ, I couldn't get over it, you know?
I know you don't. No, you don't understand that. But that's okay, you know, there's just the difference between you and I. But also, I think that's another reason why we connect through spirit, through our knowing, however that knowing comes. Because it's our own language. My knowing is my language.
Right.
And your knowing is your language.
Right.
And it's individualized for every one of us.
That's why I say, for me, it's, when I say I'm trusting God, it's become for me, it's more of a trusting myself. Because it's that knowing that I've had all along, but I didn't trust it.
So if you had to give that knowing a universal term, what would you call it?
God.
Well, besides God.
A universal term for that knowing. I don't know.
Most often I've heard it called the still small voice.
Well, okay. I can see that.
For me, that is a universal term for the knowing. That place where God and I connect.
Okay.
Where I don't have to get things out of the way to hear.
Well, but I have to be in a
Do you know what I'm
quiet
saying?
place. And
As long as I'm in my knowing.
Right.
Then I don't have to move anything out of the way in order to hear it. You see what I'm saying? If I'm in alignment. If I'm in my knowing.
Exactly. That's just it. Most of the time, I don't think we hear it when we've got all this commotion going on, and the radio, and the TV, and the kids, and the dogs, and everything going on, and we can't hear that still small voice. We can't find that connection. That's why I like the mornings, the quiet time so much, is because everything settles.
That's your meditation.
And I can feel and hear that still small voice. And that's when I believe the $1 million ideas, the creative juices start flowing, and everything's in alignment. And for me, when I get one of those ideas or one of those things I'm supposed to do, I know, okay, that's from God. It's not from me anymore. I didn't used to trust that, though.
So
that's a stupid idea.
How did you start to trust it then?
There's a long, long list of things. Walking on Fire was one of the biggest in trusting that confidence. Practice.
So one time you just decided to trust, and when it came when it worked for you, the next time you
Right.
heard it, you
It
tried
makes
it again.
easier.
So it's literally, you just got to try it.
Right. And just studying
Mm-hmm.
and just knowing that there is a God part of me and
Mhm.
discovering which part of that of me it is.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's much easier to recognize when I know that's the way God would think. You know, when I come across an idea or come across something when how do I describe it? When nobody's getting hurt, when my idea is so perfect that I couldn't have come up with it.
Mm.
I guess that's the way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
When it's something that is too smart for me, or too grand for me, or too wow for me,
Mm-hmm.
then I know it has to be that God part of me that's speaking instead of me. You know. Or a lot of times when we're even on these videos, when we go back and look at them, I'm like, I don't remember saying that.
Yeah, really. Did we really say that?
Yeah, it's
Who
too
is
smart
that?
for me. That's, you know.
Yeah.
And I really know when Spirit is in this. I can feel it now.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell when it's my ego talking and when it's really Spirit talking through me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
But
can
you
feel
didn't
that.
used to, could, right?
The few times I did, it scared the heck out of me.
Really?
Because I was like, where the heck did that come from? I'm not that smart, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could tell it. But not always. It took, there were a few times when it was so strong that I couldn't miss it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I craved that, to get that feeling back of it being something bigger than me, using me,
Yeah.
which is an awesome feeling.
It is, isn't
And it's the feeling every time I follow through on one of my inspired ideas and it works. And
Mhm.
it's just like, oh wow, that's cool. You know, and everything just falls into
Mhm.
place. And everything just goes much quicker and much easier and effortlessly.
And it is
It falls in,
effortlessly.
yes. But when I'm trying to do it and I'm trying to push the river and make it happen, everything falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another way I can test to see if it's me.
Or the cameras quit working, or
Well, not always. Not always. I think there are times when we do get off track a little bit and the camera will quit working, or you know something happens to say it's not time for this yet. But I don't necessarily think all those times are saying no, you're going down the wrong path. Don't do any more. It might be just a little tweak to the path, not a stop everything and don't do anything anymore. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think even that takes practice to know. When is it saying, no, don't stop, don't go this route? Or when is it just saying, oh, move to the left a little bit?
Right. But that still takes practice.
Right.
First of all, you got to get comfortable with what does guidance feel like to you.
Mhm.
Does it sound like? Now, not everybody hears their guidance. Not everybody hears. Don't do that. You know,
But some do.
but some do. Not everybody feels it, but some do.
Right.
You know, so it
So I
comes different. So learning how to hear my own was the first step. I
Right.
had to know that's my guidance.
Right. And I think some people are born with that stronger, and yet some of them are born into environments and families where that's more acceptable and others aren't.
Mhm.
And so each of us comes to it at different places in our lives, but I think a lot of it just comes with age and experience,
Mhm.
no matter what your environment was to begin with
Mhm.
or what you grew up with in your family. I think some of it just comes by experience.
Mhm.
So I don't think we should ever compare ourselves to other people
No.
because, you know, it happens for all of us different, and there's a path for each of us, and we have to follow our path
Mm-hmm.
and compare ourselves to only us.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Really good stuff.
Yeah. Shreen.
Shreen.